guess onto VRAR, aka the Glimpse Group. So obviously the VR in the stock ticker stands for virtual reality, and the AR stands for augmented reality. So the thing which got me about them is that they've got so many different applications. The one thing which stood out to me is VR and AR has been out for ages. Admittedly, probably over the last 5 years, it's come a long way, and you see PlayStation VR, and it was a lot just aimed at gaming before. And now you see they're trying to use it for healthcare, they're trying to use it for virtual meetings, they're using it for entertainment purposes, like we've seen before, where they had it was a Jaguar, I think, basically pouncing around the stadium and things like that. And it was quite a cool little company to have a look at, to be honest. And it is still quite small in size. Whilst they are relatively big, they're still relatively new. I mean, they IPO'd last July, on 1st of July, I believe. So they're still very much in their infancy, and they IPO'd in the middle of COVID, so that knocked them down even more.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, I have no idea why you'd want to do that, but it was a very small IPO as well. I think it was 1.75 million shares, which attracted a lot of people to it more than anything, because with such a limited market, everyone thought there could be a good return here.
It won't take much to squeeze it, but
no.
They do have a lot of shares outstanding, though, right?
Not so much. I know the insiders keep buying shares, so obviously that's another positive about this company, is that obviously when insiders, after the date they can sell shares, it does put you into, what this company's about. But not only have they not sold their shares, they've actually bought more. So you got to think they're pretty optimistic about this company.
Yeah, I mean, I saw, well, maybe I misinterpreted this, but it said 18% or so of the company was offered in a public, like the actual IPO.
Yeah.
But the total amount of shares was like 10.2 million. I don't know about the ownership of that, though.
Well, currently, at the moment, obviously, they did have a drop. I think it's sitting around, is it $8, at the high eights? And that's just the tech hit, with obviously the inflation worry, and obviously COVID does have a part to play with that. Yep. So they're looking at the last quarter really for tech stocks, and I mean even travel stocks, you can say, to start running up again.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that their revenue was growing quite a lot as well. They're like getting pretty steady growth, but their financial report didn't mention anything prior to 2020. So unless there was information maybe before that I missed. So but I guess because IPO, they don't have to.
No. So their Q1 had strong revenue growth, and that was ending September the 30th. And obviously, as this recording, which is the 14th of October, I think the total revenue was, I think, about $1 million, which is a 300% year-over-year increase. And the core software services grew to around 500%. So
whoa,
it's a pretty serious number. With most companies, when it's like below 30, you do have that worry. But when anything's above 50, it's they've got solid income, and there's a few stocks we're in that have that income. But like over 100%, there's a huge market for that.
Yeah, that's something that could trend up
in COVID.
Yeah, they said most of their workforce went remote during COVID, but it had zero effect on their output. So it seems like they're pretty resilient in that sense.
Yeah. I did listen to their earnings call previously, and it was all very positive, and they break it down per sector. They say, software's up this much. I think overall was 76% or something was the figure he said. But it was interesting, because obviously when it's an earnings call, and like you did say, obviously it's their first earnings call and whatever, and they just go through pretty much every little sector, and they go, right, we're up 70%, we're up 30%, we're up 120%. So they are growing well in each thing. The only financial, or the main financial, which worried me was their cash flow. So their cash flow was negative, which worried me a bit, because then obviously in future they're then going to have to do more offerings to get more cash in. So really, obviously it's difficult because a lot of their business is research and development. So a lot of it's going to be experimenting, programming, things like that, but before they're ready to go to market. So you expect that with companies which have sort of high amounts of innovation, but it's still sort of the main worry which I'd have at this point. That would be my main worry. I think they IPO'd too high as well, considering it was COVID. And like they're obviously seeing the knock-on effect in their share price, but at the moment they're quite attractive share price.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, they're a small company, and I think they've been in 5 years of operation. Like a few stats, they've got 100 plus customers served, 11 subsidiary companies, and 50 plus development 3D artists. But like we were saying before this, like what we're doing right now, we could literally put a VR set on and look around and just be like in a conference room talking together. And I think that's a huge aspect, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And same with the healthcare, which Sam briefly touched on. You can go through almost like a procedure of like going up, cleaning your hands, changing the bed, ready for a patient. So it gives that whole virtual aspect. And obviously when people learn, most of the time it's off a board, it's off a book. And construction as well. Like for what I was seeing on the video, there's like a picture of a building and you can put your phone up to it and it brings up a 3D image, and you can take the roof off, look inside to each of the bedrooms. And we are seeing this a few with estate agents where you get like a 3D pathway into the housing, but this is like the advanced one that's going to happen.
Yeah.
It would be really nice to have something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's exciting tech. I think that it was probably one of their downfalls when they IPO'd, that a lot of the tech wasn't ready. So although it was a lot of, from what I was reading, a lot of people, the main issue people have had with Glimpse is that it's been a lot of promises, and hopefully now we're starting to see it come through. But at the time where they IPO'd, it was very much, they were brand new and they didn't have, like they had customers for their existing tech, but a lot of it was based on this new tech, which wasn't yet marketable, hadn't yet basically come to fruition. But you see that with a lot of tech companies anyway, to get investors excited. So that was probably part of the reason whilst they struggled, but equally everyone struggled. So it certainly wouldn't be one of those where you look at the chart and you go, oh shit.
Yeah.
There is more to it.
The whole stock market rallied in COVID times, but doesn't always.
Not so much now.
Yeah, not now.
No, I was trying to look at some other people that are either investing or look at this, and obviously ARK Invest, which we all know who they are. They were saying they predict the AR market will expand from today's less than 1 billion market to 130 billion by 2030. And they said in the past few years, Snapchat, Facebook, and Apple have increased their investment in AR technology.
Yeah, there's a lot of presentations from Apple, especially.
These are like the big dogs that are going to be in this, and obviously with Glimpse Group, I think that's a perfect link for a company.
Yeah.
Well, you look at Snapchat and like all their filters and things like that. Like
it's being used. We just don't know it. Yeah.
And there's also one of their subsidiaries, QReal. So I was looking through each website and seeing what the companies were doing, and QReal actually had a partnership with Google and Snapchat. I'm not sure like what the essence of that partnership is. It could be like a partnership where they're just, they signed up to some program which costs like €20, and I don't know. But from what I see, they actually made official Snapchat filters for Walmart and Sony. So they actually made like those, you know, those weird, you can like put a helmet on yourself, that kind of stuff. So they've been working on stuff like that. The Q-Real subsidiary. Yeah, I found that pretty cool. It's like a really small company, but like the website's really clean. They presented it well. It looks like a good solution. And that's another thing with Snapchat and Google and all these companies pushing AR and stuff. They're going to be mainly interacting with these partner companies.
Haven't they got the Google glasses or?
Yeah.
And the I'm not sure if Apple. I don't think Apple have released theirs yet.
There's like plans. Yeah. But it's all rumors, and like with Apple, it's always a walled garden. You have no idea what's going on. So one day they'll come out with it randomly.
Did Google scrap the Google Glass in the end?
I was just trying to think of that. I'm not 100% sure.
That was years ago, and they released it in America in like a limited amount to test users, and it never made it properly to market. But I recently saw that Ray-Bans have released a similar type of thing where you can capture it through a camera in the glasses.
Yeah.
No. So Google Glass went the way of Google Plus and so many other Google services, ending the possibility of a more immersive connected experience. So RIP, it's dead.
I think the best way to it's quite hard to explain it from just obviously talking about it, but like it's when you like watch these films, like even like The Matrix or something on the advanced side where you have the whole table and they just bring it up and they just flick through whatever they're looking at. And I mean, even like they were saying with phones now, you can just bring up what you want to search and just flick through it with your finger in a virtual world. And that's essentially what it will be if you compare it to these films. That's where they're actually heading. And it is actually by 2030, 2040, possibly a full-on reality.
It's funny, it could become real, you know, like you remember those older movies where they'd show like, you're in the future and you have these projections of a video call. It's like a big real life person that just melts away.
However, you do see those people that are just in their room 24 hours a day and live in the virtual world, which is maybe not so good as well.
Yeah, I mean, it has practical elements.
Oh, it has huge practical elements,
But the consumer element is probably going to be like the mass-produced, really profitable one.
Yeah. I mean, you look at PlayStation, Xbox, they've all got the VR goggles, but it's just getting a bit more advanced than that.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of stuff as well. Like there were like sports things that I've watched. Not just that example that you showed, but I've seen other things where like one particular player or someone comes out and they have like their mascot or their logo like huge in the arena or the stadium. They have these like 3D characters that look like they're in the actual place.
Holographics, is that the right
term?
It's
it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it's smart, and I think the way it could go, like we've seen like over the years 3D films come and go, but that's because no one wants to wear glasses every time they go to cinema, every time they watch TV. Even Sky Sports were doing sports in 3D, and it just never caught on. But if you had the chance to watch the films, sorry.
I actually had them on me.
if you had the chance to watch films without having to wear a set of glasses every time, then that would be a much more immersive experience. And like you see at the moment, people have said, James Bond has saved the cinema because they've just released it and everyone's gone back to them. And like cinemas were like the first to pick up on 3D, something new, right, let's do it. And like some of them, they went for 4D, and it's still a bit of a novelty thing that they do. But I think it could be the way that cinema goes, especially.
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't know. Do they have any subsidiary companies that are working on cinema implementations? I saw
they've got 11, I think, and each of those have a specific role in a specific industry in VR, AR.
Yeah, I like put together a small list. There was like 3 of them that I was interested in. It was like Augt, Adept XR Learning and QReal.
Yeah. There's one called Foretell Studios. So I look at a few. I didn't have a look at all of them. You got Market View Virtual Reality. You got Crafty Games. Obviously, then you got the games. You had a food technology one, which sort of piqued my interest the most, and how that would be into how that would work. I'm just having a look at what Foretell Reality is, and it seems to be it's for business collaboration, soft skills development. It's not really movies, but I think that could be a way that they go.
Yeah, it's pretty diversified.
That would be
I
the
think
direction. Yeah. If I was going.
That was like the goal of this group, right? I read that it was more of a diversification platform to just invest in the whole AR, VR space.
Yeah. I think some of it might not work, but I think a lot of it will. The health and like the construction stuff is a huge market.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, at first, when we first looked at this, I took a brief look at the website and I was like, kind of sketch. I don't know. I just got this vibe like,
There's a VR AR website. I was like trying to scroll through, and I was like, I can't scroll.
Yeah,
I was like,
you look at it at first, and you're like, oh, I don't know, and then I guess you look a bit further into the financials and the companies that they have. I can see why the group itself is not advertised that well, because the group itself is not really doing anything. They're just really sort of pandering to investors, if you will.
Yeah. But they've got the big investors having a look at this now, and obviously it's being, used.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, 142% year-over-year profit increase. That's it's not bad. Gross profit.
To me, what's more than likely is that they seem to be building a business to get bought out. So they're necessarily looking at more growing revenues than growing their profits. Like the thing they always boast is their revenues, whereas obviously cash is still a bit poor, and they're not. If you looked at the company on paper, they wouldn't be great. And even the way it's set up, you've got Glimpse Group, which is essentially the holding company, and then it's owning all the shares in the other companies and sort of diversifying itself, but equally just becoming one thing where then investors could then come in and buy just the holding company. And say if Google came in and went, we want to get really into AR, we'll buy Glimpse Group.
Yeah, makes it a lot easier for investors as well. Rather than having a look at each segment and going, this is the one that's going to take off. You've got a whole holding here.
Yeah, and it's well known in business valuations and things like that. If you are public, it's a lot easier, or you get a lot more money for it because it's a lot more marketable. It's already gone to market, essentially.
Yeah.
So if you were to sell it, you probably get an extra 25-30%.
I think people would be surprised how much is already being used. I think it'd just be more commercially used in the next 5-10 years. And by that time, Glimpse Group might be at about $30, maybe even more. You
never know.
You don't know. No, but that's the thing. They're still a relatively small company in comparison to where they could be. Is this the time to get in now? Better early than late, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm actually reasonably. I came on this call and I must admit I was a bit skeptical about them because about the sort of way it was being run, how they just suddenly gone to IPO at a not great time. But actually, the more you think about it, the more you think if you almost bite the bullet a little bit now for future, because it is one of those companies where in 10 years you might go, oh shit, they're now $100 a share or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's what ARK is predicted, $130 billion industry compared to $1 billion now, which is a huge growth in 2030.
Yeah. I mean, I'll take 130 times my investment. That'll be
all right.
That'll be all right. If they become the biggest player in the market, then
Yeah.
Yeah.
My only
Nice.
concern is like if COVID and everything else didn't happen, I think we would all be in this personally and as the Wealth Project. But it's like I think it's more the question when to get in because tech is being hit so hard as well as everything else. And like the focus at the moment is COVID and inflation. That is the main focus. And like it's difficult to say like, do we get in now or suddenly everything's being hit and now it's hit $5 or $6 and it's like, oh Jesus Christ, you know, I could almost have doubled my money by the time I bought it. So I think that's the real question, but no one knows that.
No one knows.
If it hits 6 months high.
Next year, if there's a lockdown, there's no cinemas, there's no stadiums, there's no the platforms. A lot of their platforms are big public things. Like obviously,
it will soon be more home environment, but at the moment it's not.
Yeah, that's it. So their biggest and highest earning contracts will be with obviously the stadiums and things like that when they're targeting mass amounts of consumers rather than, although it's great they've got this home working division where you could do a call on it, there's only so many that companies which are going to buy that.
Yeah, and big companies are still struggling with shortage supplies.
Yeah, there's so much that goes into this. It's like to make VR, AR really, I guess, a thing, you also need like a high availability of chips, which we don't have right now. You also really need like really good, efficient chips, which we're getting there, but like still not quite. They're good, but they're not like AR, VR great.
No, China needs to get themselves sorted.
Yeah, so... And then also there's connectivity, like the 5G thing. It's like, how are we going to work that out? It hasn't really picked up pace or anything, so... It's when all those stars align, that's when things are going to really
But the problem is then,
start.
is usually it's too late. Or it's not too late, but...
Yeah.
So...
That's when you kick yourself for not getting in it. What is it? At the moment, $8?
Yeah. You can see so clearly if you just look at everything falling into place, you can be like, if it does, then
I think if I had 100 grand, I'd probably put in 15, and I'd just forget about it.
Not financial advice.
No, not financial advice, but that would be my personal.
I think $8 isn't a particularly bad price. I think it's a pretty reasonable price in comparison to where they could be. I just think
87 million market cap,
give or take. I think it is.
But that's all the shares, right? That's like shares outstanding.
Yeah. So I just because it annoys me with some stocks. You wait for that like 10 to 20 cents drop, which gives you that extra 3%, and then suddenly it goes up, and you're like, so you've waited for 3% change. You know, it's nothing.
Yeah. In the grand scheme of things, it's nothing.
No, it's nothing.
I never understood the entry point thing. It's like if you're going to hold something for 5 years, just buy it.
Well, from their lows, which was over, I think, the past month or 2 months when they got hit quite hard, they're about 20 to 25% up. I'm just going off that from roughly what I saw today. So it's quite annoying, like you could have had that 25% cushion. However, how many times can people say that in stocks? You know? And I think if that is the lows, I believe I think anything under $8 is a great buy for this company.
Yeah, I have the same.
For a swing to long-term trades.
Now is 17.6%.
Yeah.
So they are bouncing back. Admittedly, if you do anything from the low point, you're going to make a gain.
And they had a strong bounce back. I mean, yesterday was a huge day for them. Today, not so much. I think they're about even at the moment.
Yeah,
but
last week up 17%.
So maybe that was the support line.
So the line has been drawn.
Will you be personally investing, Morgan?
I will be personally investing my money into this. Probably Currently, I think I'll invest 10% of my portfolio, and I might boost it up to 15, just because I've got a lot of other companies that I'm currently invested in that I'm not willing to cash out on. A lot of it to do with environment stuff, voltage charging, and so on. So, yeah, I think 10, 15% of my portfolio, I'll be pretty confident in that looking back. I'd even go as far to say in 6 months' time, I'd like to say I've got a 20% return on it.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good target. I might also throw some in. Maybe I'll make it 5% for now. try and dollar cost average or something.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I'm wondering. Obviously, when I make my millions off Shiba, I'll probably just put a little bit in just to keep me ticking over for like breakfast money and things like that.
Yeah, you're gonna be like one of those guys with the Shiba number plate on your Ferrari.
Yeah, too right.
Yeah.
I'll get a Shiba tattoo if I make $1 million off it.
Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that. It's on the internet now, so
that'd be nice. But no, I think that's a good place to end anyway. I think
in terms of the Wealth Project investing in it, you got to have a look at our Patreon account. That is where we're actually buying final buy price, and get more information on it, and see how we're trading this.
Yeah, perfect. Well, thanks for watching the Wild Project. Hope to see you again soon. Thanks.